So we are very honored tonight to have Dorzho Dugarov here as our guest. He is a human rights activist and a public figure from the Republic of Buryatia. Currently, he's living in Finland. He's been living there, sorry, since 2016 as a political refugee after being prosecuted by Russian special services and an assassination attempt. Dorzho is a historian specialized in Tibetan Mongolian studies, and he has been an engineer programmer for the Yukos oil company. Dorzho started his political and social activities in 2005 by joining the human rights movement RH. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. You can correct me later, Dorzho, which advocates for the rights of national minorities in Russia. From 2006 to 2015, he led many of the protests against the anti-democratic changes in Russia, which were held in Buryatia. In 2019, he was awarded the Boris Nemtsov International Scholarship for his many years of human rights activist. He revived the Buryat National Movement for Independence in February 2022. And he is a member of the social political movement Three Leagues of Nations, in which various colonies of the Russian Federation strive for independence together. So, again, we're very honored to have you here tonight, Dorzho. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody, and good day and good morning. So I am very thank you for invitation to participate in this panel. And I hope you can see my screen or not. Okay.
So far, we just see you, which is nice.
You have to share your screen again now, Dorzho.
So I am starting to share.
Yeah.
I hope it starts to work.
Yeah, it's starting to work. It needs a little bit of time.
Okay. So today I want to construct my meeting like a dialogue, not like just a monologue when I'm speaking. You can stop any moment and you can ask any question whatever you want. So I want to speak about Russian imperialism, problem of Russian imperialism, and about the struggle of ethnic minorities in Russia who wants to attain independence from Russian Federation or from Russian Empire. So let's start. The first question is: Russia is a colonial empire. What do you think? What do you think? So I can say that yes, Russia is a still colonial empire, and last signification of this was happened in 2023 when the Russian government issued a resolution, some law, 1558. On the denunciation of a convention for the protection of national minorities. And before, in 2020, the Russian President Putin changed the constitution of Russian Federation, and he assigning to that only Russian ethnic group is a solid state forming nation in the Russian Federation. What does it mean? It means that all other nationalities living in Russia is outside of legal space and not something participant of signing of federal treaty, which was signed in 1992. So let's start from history of Russian Empire. So this map it's showing expansion of Russian Empire. So how it started in 15th century, and step by step you can see on this map how it's grown, and the main important thing what is marked on this map is that all this territory was conquered by Russia, by Russian kingdom or Russian Empire. If you open a Russian history book, for example, in school, you never find any words that Russia grow like empire and other nations meet Russian in goodwill and become parts of Russian state as they want. But this map was published in beginning of 20th century during the Tsar time. So, and it's clearly show that all territories was conquered. It's from the west to east, and it show these colors show at what king's time what territory was added to Russian Empire. So, and it's if you see, maybe if in later you can download this presentation, and if you try to translate, you see that it is said that territory was conquered. It not come itself to Russia. The people which was live in this territory was oppressed and conquered. And what we have this nowadays Russian propaganda show. You can see it is not something which I found in internet, like somebody draw this. No, this show this advertisement at the street in Russia. It's written.
So, can I interrupt you for a moment? There's
yes.
On your screen, there's this bar that says this meeting is being recorded. Can you click that away? Then we can see the title of your presentation. Because it's in front of the title.
Where?
It should be right on your screen somewhere. It says this
okay.
Being recorded. There. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So what we have today, we have some phantom pains of Russian nationality, which feel that they are still empire, and we can see these banners at the streets, and which is propaganda. We are new Russian Empire. So, and this map I take from website of Russian how to say it, real estate company. So it's not only official propaganda, it's also common Russian people how they feel, and they use it in their advertisement. So it's a narrative of Russian people that they are still a Russian Empire. So we go to next slide. And here we see Russian brands like Rosneft, Lukoil, Gazprom, and Russian colonial empire is based on selling of mineral resources outside of Russia, like neft, gas, gold. But the property of this mineral resource, it's not depend to Russian people. It's depend to national minorities like Khanty-Mansi, Buryats, Tatars, Bashkirs, and all this gas, gold, oil was stolen by Russian government or Russian oligarchs and sold to West or to America, to China, to India. And neither no any sense return to people who is the owner of this places of these regions. So when and this is a moral principles. When nowadays some Western companies which buying oil from Russia, they still buying oil from Russia, but we have to understand the morality. When you're buying something which was stolen, it is not good. So it's not property of Russia. It's property of people who live there. But this people is lawless. They haven't right for these mineral resources, for this gas, gold, coal, uranium, something like silver or diamonds. For example, this Alrosa, it's a main Russian company which trading with diamonds, and but only one place in Russia which excavated diamonds. It is Yakutia, but no any Yakut people receiving money from this when Russia selling diamonds to the West or to America, to Israel. So, and this Nord Gold company, it's one of the biggest Russian gold company, and I was working there. And also I put here Yukos oil. Even head of Yukos was Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who is one of leader Russian opposition. But still, the even Russian government nowadays of Putin or Russian liberal opposition, they cannot offer our new program. They only doing suggestion of the selling mineral resources which not depend to them. So I call it a stolen goods. So it's not good to buy stolen things. And next slide. So the Russian colonial empire, it seems to be that nowadays Russia turned to Nazi regime. It seems to be, but in fact, it always was some fascist state. And nowadays in Russia, they have a youth organization which called Yun Armia, Army of Youth People. But all symbols of this Yun Armia was taken from Nazi organization in Wehrmacht, like Leibstandard, Adolf Hitler, such things. And you see the young people dressed like Nazi soldiers. And there's a women battalion on some Russian parade. And next slide. And nowadays, Russian army. And we see that Russian army changed their military uniform to the Wehrmacht uniform. So it's completely based on fascist army tradition. So it's not anymore some normal liberal country. It's completely Nazi regime in Russia. And next slide, popularization of war in mass culture. So from the very young generation to students, only one propaganda they have nowadays, how to fight and how to die for their mother Russia. And even you are not involved to some youth organization, but anyway, they have a propaganda of war and cult of this in every level of society. Even young people who going to nightclubs, they can meet this propaganda of war everywhere. And it seemed to be like 1984. Is it right? Yes. And as we joking, who is immigrants from Russia, we say, Orwell said, I wrote this as a warning, not instruction for use. but you see that that it seems like 1984. Is a way of out of this situation. Sorry. In May 22, many activists of ethnic movements and democratic movements united to Free Nation League. And we basing on experience of First and Second Chechen War, we understand that we have to find solution and become independent from Russia to stop all this situation. So, and next slide. The question is, do we have a chance? These people who united to League of Free Nations, do we have a chance? And last time, on the last previous panel, there was one question of one participant who said that he afraid that on the territory of modern Russia, there will be full of house and all these people would fight each other, and maybe it's better to keep everything under control of Moscow. Its idea was of this speech or of question was this, but I can say that no, we have a chance. Why? Because people who united to Free Nation League have a long history of struggle, and not only struggle, but we have an experience of creating of our own states, like regular countries, and which has all elements of a regular state. Like here on this slide, you can see here is army of Ingermanlandia, which was established in 1917s. And the next photo is Parliament of Bashkortostan state, which was established after collapse of Russian Empire. And next photos is a map of Buryat Mongolian state. Buryat Mongolian state was created after collapse of Russian Empire, after Russian Revolution in October 17th. So, and here's the photos of leaders of Buryatian independent state, which declared independence from Russian Empire, and they had constitution, democratic constitution, with parliament, prime minister, president. So, and next slide. So the same, the Buryat people had not only one state, Buryat Mongolia, but other state, which was independent, few independent Buryatian states. So, and here we have a kingdom with the king Luksan Sandan-Tsidenov, and here is his government, and the constitutional. This is one of pages of photo, one of pages of constitution. This is nowadays banner. I just using for this slide. So, and the idea that when it was kingdom of Buryatia, and we have a constitution, so power of king was limited, and they have a government and parliament, and also equal rights of women and men, and everyone has a right to vote. So it means that all these people who participating in nowadays League of Free Nations has a long story of democratic development, long story of political struggle, long story of statehood traditions. So nowadays, what organizations is in the League of Free Nations? The first is a Buryat Mongolian organization, which called Buryat Mongol RK10. In government, Erzian movement, Tatars movement, Chechen movement, Yakut movement, Oirat Kalmykian movement, also one Tatar, Kazan Tatar movement, Kabardino-Balkaria, Mokshan people, and Kazakh people. So, and we also has many members in the league, which is not full members, but they are observers from other people, other ethnic groups like Dagestan, Ingushetia, and more small groups like who wants just participate or just observing our activity and making plans to enter to League of Free Nations. So our territory on modern Russian map. So what regions? It is not all of them, but it's most strongest organization which in league. So it's showing how many we are, and some regions is also participating in league, but they haven't such ethnic groups, but they are some regionalistic movements. So, and next I want to tell about what we have done at the moment now. The first, one of the good, how to say, one of the best projects which we have realized at the moment. The first is which we appealed to the President of the United States and sharing the American Day of Captive Nations to worldwide. And we also started project Only Independence, which uniting many ethnic activists worldwide, and they showing their wishes to be independent from Russia. So worldwide activity. So we advocating political prisoners who is in Russia or not. He is I wrote only about Ingush political prisoners, but we also help to political prisoners from Buryatia, Kalmykia, Tatarstan, Bashkortostan. So we participating in the work of special committee of Ukrainian Rada, and we have a we participating to creating special law of program of Ukraine, how to negotiate with enslaved people in Russia, inside of Russia. And one of the biggest achievement of League is that we talk with Mongolian president and head of parliament and change situation on the south border of Russia in Mongolia, and Mongolia accepted for 2,050 or 260,000 refugees who escaped from Russian mobilization, and they now settled in Mongolia. So 250,000 people escaped with the help of League of Free Nations. So it is something like same like if Western Europe helping to Ukraine or America helping to Ukraine. So the League doing same work. Maybe you cannot see in the newspapers on CNN or something, but our work is the same, on the same level. So next project which we realized is a supplying of Ukrainian army with special medical equipments, especially from Estonia, Finland, and from Poland. We're buying special medical equipment and sending to Ukrainian army. And we have a very good connection with Mongolian government, and we changed the politics of Mongolia. They was more neutral, but nowadays they are supporting like not only Buryatian people, but Tuvan people, Kalmyk people, Tatar people. So, and they the work of League in Mongolia is very wide and very popular. So, and we have support on the very top of Mongolian government, like presidents, prime minister, and the head of parliament. And I want to ask, have we chance? Have we chance? And I can say yes. Why? Because if you see this map from Freedom House, and it's a level of democracy in the world. And here in Central Asia, you can see that Mongolia has a green. It's one of the highest level of democracy in the world. So our tradition is very connected to Mongolia, and Mongolian state was established by people from Buryatia who go to Mongolia and created Mongolian state, established government, write law, not only in the beginning of 20th century, but in 19th of 20th century, when Mongolian democratic revolution was take place in the same period like perestroika in Russia, and the leaders of Mongolian democratic revolution was Buryat people like Zorig and the prime minister Byamp-Sureng. I know them in myself in face. So it's not only about Buryats. No, it's also about Kalmyk people, Tatar people, Bashkir people, Yakut people, because we have the same traditions and we have same goals, and we're working same style. So I hope we have a chance to build some developed democracy. We have to have chance. And the question is not do you have a chance? No, we don't need to talk about chance. We have to do something, because it is our strategy. Because if we split Russia to many, and all these people who has this long time democratic traditions, which it will bring some peace to not only to Ukraine, but it will destroy menace of Russian invasion to Europe, because Russia will not have anymore any power to do something terrible like this invasion to Ukraine nowadays. So, as I said, there is a many scenario of how it will be in Russia inside. We don't know. We are not some predictors like Nostradamus, of course. But what will be in future in Russia? We don't know at the moment, but we're doing our plans. And the main important thing is that preservation of this Russian system, colonial system, on this Eurasian space is will have seeds for future war, for future source of instability. So, but the people inside of Russia are captive people. I mean, like national minorities. They are strategic partners of Europe to create peace, because these all people, they don't need to fight against Europe. They don't want to fight in Ukraine. As I said, 250,000 people only in Mongolia escaped from Russia, only in Mongolia, but many, of course, in Georgia and other countries, near a few million. So it means that in the last days, what happens in Bashkiria, the strike of these Bashkirian people who protecting their rights to speak on Bashkirian language and protecting their sacred place like Mount of Kushtau, it shows that these all people, they have never want to be with the Russian Empire. They never want to be captured people. They want to be independent and free people. And this is not just words. We have a plans. One of projects of League of Nations is creating of some university courses for national leaders, giving them knowledge of modern political systems, modern economic, modern social science, and all of this movement. They have a plan. They clear plan, wrote a plan, and they not only wrote this plan of how, as here I wrote, restoration of statehood of Buryat Mongolia. We not just wrote this program, we following this program. Step by step, day by day, we're doing what we wrote. And we compare these plans with each other program. And we talk with politicians in Europe, in America, and we're showing our program to economists, and we hope that it will work, and it will give us chance. And this is a strategy of future peace in Europe, in Eurasia, and the whole world. So thank you very much. I hope my speech was not so sumburic. I hope. I think maybe you have questions. Here you can see my contacts, my emails, and our website is especially important is a website of Free Nations League, and also website of our organization and my emails. So if you have questions, I will be very happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorzho. Good, we have time for questions here and now. Dorzho, can you stop the screen sharing so we can see everybody? Thank you. Great. Barbara, first question.
You're talking about having a history of nation state development, but you're also talking about the purple ethnic drives behind this. And of course, part of that is because you're ethnically in minorities and treated as such. But tell me a little bit about how you're going to walk that fine line between just ethnic groups, and the next thing we get is ethnic wars with the neighbors, and developing first blue nation states and then orange states that can actually prosper in the modern world. How are you doing that?
Okay, thank you for question. It's very important topic, very important question. In League of Free Nations, it's something like a parliament of future independent countries, or something like a United Nations of this post-Russian territory. And nowadays, we're trying to find solution of preventing of all future possible problems, because maybe you know history of Soviet Union and how they created these republics, autonomic regions, and they cut borders without any understanding of what happens. And of course, there's many problems. It's possible to have such problems. For example, I can say this Kalmyk people and Kazakh people, not Kazakhstan, but I mean Kazakh people on Don region or something, and Astrakhan, in the League of Free Nations, they talking now that they will not have, how to say, questions to each other. We accept borders now, or we changing territory, and we sign our threat. So we show that we solving problems planted by Russia now. We planted ourselves without management of Moscow. As you know, a problem of Nagorno-Karabakh between Armenia and Azerbaijan. For many years, this problem was managed by Moscow. They especially keep this problem and regulating this war between Azerbaijan and Armenia. So we don't want Moscow be involved with our future life. So we're trying to make solution nowadays ourselves peacefully. Now, if we have some, for example, problem between our regions, neighbor regions, if it's possible, we accept borders now, and for the next, we never will be, okay, we can buy territory, for example, as a solution, or we change territory, exchange, I mean. So yeah, we're working in this direction because we understand that many things was created by Moscow for future, for controlling us. Thank you.
So this sounds like some orange strategic solutions to what could be a nasty purple-red problem, but you've anticipated it and are working on something other to offer people other than shooting their neighbors.
Yes, from my experience, Republic of Buryatia was split to few regions by Stalin, like Ust-Orda Autonomous Okrug District and Aginsky. And in 2006 and 2007, Moscow completely destroyed these regions and gave our Ust-Orda to Irkutsk and Aginsk to Zabaikalsky region. So we understand that we don't want to fight with our neighbor Irkutsk region in future. For example, Siberian Republic. It will be Siberian Republic. We don't want to fight. We understand that we lost some territory, and the people living there, Buryatian people. Okay, we do deal with Irkutsk region. We say, you have our Buryatian territories and Buryatian people in this small town or something like this. Okay, they have their rights. We never be return our territory. We will be working in our Buryatia and develop our Buryatia. And if you see that in the future our region is high developed economically, for example, as example, I'm using border between Belgium and I think Netherlands. I don't remember what. There is a famous photo border between two Europe countries. It's just line on the road. We want to create this.
Yeah, and there's actually parts of Belgium are inside the Netherlands.
Yes. I think this photo.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Saskia, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your talk. I'm very much in favor of all empires falling out in smaller regions. And I think in all the world and every country almost in Africa has ethnic minorities which would also like to become independent because their boundaries are made by empires. I'm very curious about your strategy. Like, for instance, are you part of UNPO, the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, which has all the nations or ethnic minorities which want to become independent sovereign states, and some were part of the United Nations Decolonization Committee, and others not. And Yeah, I'm very curious for your strategies. Will you, for instance, yeah, what are the strategies how to get sovereign status from Moscow?
We understand that Russia cannot be as nowadays. It will be, it will down. We understand this, or it will become something like North Korea. So we see that there is many scenarios of how it will be, and we're working on every scenario how it could be. For example, if Russia becoming like Iran country, or Russia will be like a Gorbachev time, something like in 91. So and we generating different strategies. And what about talking about borders and other territories? You have to understand that the direct comparing with Africa is not working. Why? Because our national regions is not something created by Russia itself. No, its territories was states before Russia come, historical, like Buryatia is part of Mongolia. Tataria was a golden order, such countries like, and this Ingermanland people has own, like they was part of Sweden and Denmark. They always was some kingdoms, like, so all these territories was captured, and we just doing restoration of our statehood. And as I said, Buryat Mongolia was an independent country for a few years, and not only one Buryat Mongolian state. There was a kingdom of Buryat Mongolia and the Republic of Buryat Mongolia. There was same people, but a few states. And for example, my grandfather was a minister of justice of this kingdom. He wrote constitution of their state. So we have a tradition. It's not Russia come us and give some, oh, this is you have to some system of writing or like this. No, we have a long traditions, long history. We have our culture, writings, something like this. Yes,
I understand. And do you have a relation to the UNPO, to the unrepresented nations?
Not yet. Not United Nations. No, we don't have.
No, it's not United Nations. It is the unrepresented nations and people.
Yeah. I understand now. I understand what you mean. Yes. At the moment, this organization is not working. As I know, it was in Estonia, and I know the president of who was Dr. Maal. I remember he was guesting my home. He was a friend of my father, so I know him well. Of course, I was a child, but I saw him. So, and what we're doing is the same. League of Free Nations is the same, but maybe next level, next stage of what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saskia. Leila?
Yeah. So thanks for your information, Dorzho. I heard you say that somehow your expectation is that the Russian Federation will disintegrate. Can you explain why you think that will happen?
Because we believe to Ukraine. Yes, we believe, because Russia has no anymore so strong power. It will be the last, what happens in Bashkiria a few weeks ago, 1 week ago, we see that people not agree with Russian policy. People want to be independent from Russia. The Bashkir people show the example. The first, this time, the Bashkirs show our example that not only in Moscow people going to the street to fight for their rights. No, common people in ethnic regions like Bashkiria fighting for rights. And it happens also in Buryatia last year. There was a battle between Russian forces and local people who was using rifles, such things, and the Russian army come and shoot. It also happens in Siberia, in Buryatia also. People start struggle against the Russian government. People begin this. So it means that Russia will not anymore like this. I have to say it happens last autumn in the Buratian region, Okinsky district, and the people start a fight with Russian army, against Russian army, I mean. It happens. It was maybe it's not so wide in use, but it happens. So many people, even in Russian liberal politicians, I am also liberal politician. So, and we're saying that in Russia, we still have, in Russian Federation, it's still civil war, which not ended in the beginning of 20th century. It's still civil war.
Okay, thanks. Mark, please.
Yeah, thanks, Dorzho. First, I want to thank you. I'm deeply impressed. I got to know a lot of new information. I didn't notice really that there were 12 countries kept captive by Russia. What would interest me is your perspective on the issue of fascism, because you described Russia as a strongly fascist imperial country mindset. And at the same time, Russia condemns Ukraine of being fascist. So can you explain this dynamics of a country, in your opinion, deeply fascist to it, and at the same time they see Ukraine as a threat, or they describe it as a threat because there is fascism in Ukraine? Do you have an opinion on this?
Yes, of course, I have opinion about this. It is completely oxymoron. I think you understand me. No? It's word. So it's something like, according to Ukraine, it's completely fake information of Russian propaganda, even inside of Russia. When I was preparing this presentation, I was thinking to use some photos from beginning of World War II, when Russian forces, RKK, Red Army, and Wehrmacht doing parade together in Brest city. Together, they captured Poland, and the Russian officers, and smoking cigarettes with German Wehrmacht officers, and they doing parade in Brest. So, and there was some line to nowadays when they completely change military uniform, change to German style, and this young organization like Young Armia, they using these symbols of eagle like Leibstandard Adolf Hitler, such. And I don't understand myself how it could be in a country which saying, oh, where I can repeat Berlin 45 like such, but it's somehow it's working in their mind. It's really something sickness of society, sickness. But of course, it's work of propaganda and using of narrative of imperialism, like we are Russian and our religion, like they say that we're Russian and God with us, and all other people is not equal to us, such things, and they're using also, of course, the Victory Day of 45. Completely, this is not understandable. Yes, but it works. It works in minds, especially in people who not thinking about future. Yes.
Thanks, Dorzho. I also had a question for you, and I think that also builds a little bit on what Barbara is asking. But so as this organization in League of Nations, what is your representation within your regions? Because your vision may not be that of everybody in those regions. So how do you look at that, and how does that compare?
You mean presentation of our organization in our region?
Representation. So do you have an estimate, or how many people in the regions that you're talking about support your organization? Right. So
yes, understand.
And how many do you expect not to support your organization? Because like in the talk we had a few weeks ago, you talked about some people that are close to you that are also from Buryatia, but who are pro-Putin, right? So
yes. League of Free Nations is a united organization of people organization. I mean, ethnic minorities organizations. They enter to one something like committee, like parliament. But all members of this league has own national movement, which is represented in their region. Like Bashkir people has a Bashkort organization, and last weeks show that they have very wide support in their region. This person who was arrested and put it to the jail, here one of Bashkort organization. So, and these people, 15,000 people go to the street to fight with the police in this small town. And in Buryatia, for example, we can say that we have a wide focus also, because mainly, of course, people who not agree with Putin's regime, they move it to outside from Russia, especially young new generation. I mean 30, 20 years old people, and mainly who leave Buryatia, and it is near, I think, 70 or 80,000 people, and much of them directly become members of like RKTNs or like Free Buryatia, such organizations directly. So it means that our ideas is spread wide in our society. But of course, under Russian operation, this terror regime, police regime, of course, people cannot go out to the street. And our work is in a time of system crisis in Russia, to make coordination between all of us, all people, I mean, in all regions in which we have a people, our activists, do something like revolution, like in Vilnius 91, which held something like this. Why I'm saying this? Because my wife is from Lithuania, she's Lithuanian, so I understand that how it works.
Okay, thank you. Saskia.
Yeah, I think in the same vein as Auke, like, so there is some regional autonomy. Would you achieve also what you want by elections? Are you working, trying to get like regional or local representations in the current regions?
At the moment, there is no possibility. Okay. At the moment, we cannot participate in election in Russia. League of Free Nations is an unwell organization in Russia by the decision of Russian state prosecutor and by police, by Jew. So if, for example, if I go to Russia, I will be arrested at the moment on the border. Most of us will be, but we are a democratic organization, and in the future, when we have our, we hope it will be a non-violent revolution. We hope. And the first thing which we do is an election, free and open election. The first thing which we will do.
It's am I right in thinking that one of the first things that Putin did when he came to power is to change the whole structure, that there was the regional offices were not electable anymore, and they were assigned by him, right?
Yes,
so there's not a lot of
yes.
local there's not a lot of local elections, if I understand, or maybe none. Is that correct, or am I wrong with that?
Then one of things what Putin done is he banned local election of local head of region, and after he put his representatives, and nowadays they're doing some fake election without alternatives. Some, for example, in Buryatia, he sent one person whom called Bair. Oh no. Even I forget his name, Tsidenov. So, and just Buryat name, but Buryat face, but he's not Buryatian. So, and this fake person is something like from Putin. He come from Moscow, and he ruling region and sending Buryatian people to Ukraine, and crazy. Yes, sorry. Sorry.
Good. Thank you. Rasa, please.
Very interesting, because there are a lot of dynamics that I'm just completely not aware of. What's happening within Russia, Russian Empire, as you say. Do you have any support from the higher levels of governance? I'm not sure how this governance works really, because I remember when Lithuania was getting independence back, so there were this kind of people who said, no, we need to separate, we need to do it slowly, like kind of strategy behind it. So we kind of go away slowly and maybe painlessly. However, the other side was like, no, we have to cut it off. Like, it will be very painful, it will be awful, but if we look at the strategy, it's not going to work just because of how Russia functions, right? It just eats you out, like, just from the inside. Right? It just erodes your identity and everything, and it's like narcissistic mother, right? It's just, you cannot have a little bit of relationship. You're either sucked in or you need to cut yourself completely out. So it's sort of, but we had support at the top levels, right, of the governance. So I wonder, is this the grassroots movement? So it's a strategy, or? I
understand your question. So nowadays, government of they call them government of Buryatia. For example, about my region.
Yeah.
Of course, we have people in some officials, like in the Ministry of Inner of Police Department, in Secret Service, our agents. There's people who support us, but not these official ministers or head of Republic. Of course, they're not. And they are war criminals, and they are in a sanction list. I myself sent their documents to include, for example, head of Buryatia to sanction list, and his ministers, and we consider they really done many war criminals. criminal. So they cannot be something. They and in the system crisis, they will not have any support from normal people. No any, because they understand themselves it, because if there's no Putin, for example, in Moscow, they are nobody, because they are not connected to our region. They come from Moscow, from Zamzava, blah blah, and they will be knocked out from our region directly.
So what conditions do you need now to really act?
System crisis.
System crisis.
System crisis. Maybe Putin not die, but we need a system crisis. And of course, we can provocate this. I can say that last year, when we have this Prigozhin's rebel, last summer, only one region was ready to strike. Only one region. I mean Buryatia. Because only we have forces in the place. Other regions, at the moment, they don't have people who have ammunition, and but only our people was ready to do something if Prigozhin do something in Moscow. But it was, you understand, if we go to there, I mean in Buryatia, at that Prigozhin's rebel day, but in Bashkiria or in Yakutia, now nobody go out to the street. So we will lose chance. So what we have to do is a preparation for same case like Prigozhin done last year. So in same time, every region go out to the street, or our activists go to the main administration and to control under this, take control under this administration and arrest these war criminals.
All right. Well, all the best.
So, Elena, there's a question. Do you want to ask your question on the video, Elena, or do you want me to read it? Okay. So as he's saying, why is the Russian government so afraid of democracy? Could it be because of our current ways of doing democracy has too many flaws? I'm speaking from personal experience living in the democratic society for the last 20 years. Am I right assuming that you actually are from Russia, Elena? Is that right? Is that correct? Or is... She will answer that on the chat. So you want to say a few words on that, Dorzho? Yeah, you was born.
Okay, I can say that the Russia never have a good democracy. Even Yeltsin time, there was no democracy. You know that Yeltsin take a power in 91 by election, but in 93 there was a crisis between parliament and presidentship, and what he done, he shoot to parliament and change situation to super presidential republic. So Russia never have a democracy, and the tradition of changing of how to say this, from Yeltsin to Putin, it's illegal. Because there was no alternatives. Yeltsin clan afraid of that there will be anti-corruption investigation, and they put Putin using propaganda, and so even we're thinking of perestroika, Gorbachev change situation. Yeah, maybe, but only one good thing happens. It's a splitting of Soviet Union, falling of Soviet Union, and Ukraine, Belarus, Baltic countries, this Armenia become independent. This only one good thing happens. But inside of Russia, there was no any democracy, and the Moscow power, they have no idea of democracy. So of course they're afraid, because if democracy, they have no any power, they will some there in the jail. But for example, in Mongolia, maybe you know that in Mongolia, few presidents was arrested after they was a president, and next day they was arrested. Why? Because investigation of corruption. So Mongolian people has a democratic traditions. So in Mongolia, they can arrest president next day after his presidency. It's easy.
They have a hard time doing that in the US. So, yeah. Yeah. Barbara, last question to you.
You had mentioned that you wanted to like coordinate and to have everybody ready in within the league to support an action. But you also mentioned earlier that, you know, the rest of the world doesn't know much about what you are doing. So I wonder if there might not be a way that we could, all of our organizations that we individually represent could tie into this. And you could also send us an alert, and we could begin telling everybody that we know and begin to help you publicize, oh, this is going on. And maybe we could actually get some Western news coverage of it. Maybe we could get you some support. Maybe we could find a place for refugees. So it sounds like it's not just you guys that need to get coordinate and plan for things that are coming, but plan for the rest. Let the rest of the world help you plan.
Yes, good suggestion and good question. I'm very thank you. It's very nice to hear this, and I hope that our voice will be and everywhere, and the people will hear us. And I have to say that we're trying to do anything or everything in non-violent way. Myself, I am Buddhist. I am I am not so close, of course, to Dalai Lama, but I know him. So as you know, Dalai Lama is teaching to non-violent struggle. So, and I following to Dalai Lama, and I cannot do some cruel things. But in politics, I understand that sometimes we have to have some power, but have power and use power is different things. So we're trying to make our people strong, but non-violent way take our independence. We hope when system crisis will be, we go out to the streets and regime will fall down. And it will be peaceful democratic revolution. And our people will be independent, like in 91, when the Russian Soviet Union was split too many.
We can all hope, and we can all support
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you.